Hi guys, here's part 2 of the earring. We're going to do the back. The fabric that I'm using is called in the Netherlands suede. It's just a piece of fabric that is suede on one side and just regular on the other side. So the regular ultra suede would have suede on both sides, I think. I've never seen it, never had it, but I think that's it. So I cut out a little piece of suede, and I'm on the back. So the suede is on my beading pad, and the Soutache is on top of that. And now I got a book, and I'm putting the suede on the back, like that, and taking my little Soutache project, and I'm going to take my pen, and I'm going to stay out of the way. I'm just going to go around, out of the way as much as possible of my thread. So it's going to be a big round. But that's okay, we're going to cut that off later. There. And I'm going to cut that out on the line. And be careful that you don't do this, of course, on the suede side, because you might wind up with a little piece of ink showing there. And it doesn't have to be perfectly round or perfectly cut. It's just that so you sort of have the shape. So the next part is we're going to attach this to the back like that, and we'll cut off the excessive thread later on, so don't worry about that, but it's just so that you can see what you're doing. And for that I got about an arm span and a half wide thread of fire line. You need a knot, of course, on the back side. And I'm going to go very carefully into the back of my Soutache, only one thread, so my knot will hold there, like that. And make sure that you don't damage the front. So I'm going to pull that through. Got my knot to hold. I'm going to cut off the extensive thread so it won't be in my way. In front of the knot, of course. There. And now that's going to go on there. So I'm going to stick through my suede about here. And I'm going to hold this tight, and I'm going to go carefully into my suede on the back, like that. Little steps, and I'm going to go and try and get in between these two Soutache cords, and you got to be really careful that you don't pull any suede cord with it. I can see I'm sticking into the yellow, trying to get out of that. There. And I'm going to go stick it down again, very carefully. And I'm going to go and do this all the way around. Let's see. and it's gonna be juggling a little bit to get right in between there. And then down again. And let me show you what happens if you don't do it carefully like that. There's a little piece here. I went through my thread. I don't know if you can see that. I will zoom that in later. But right here, there's a little piece that I just did something wrong. I went through my thread. So you want to try and keep this curves nice and pretty. And that's why you do this very, very carefully. And it's going to be a little bit time consuming, but that's okay. The finished project will be worth it. And up again. And I'm taking kind of big steps when I move over in between. That's okay as long as you take smaller steps on the back side. And when you reach that point where the cord is underneath, just try and get through both of them. Right there. So now I went through this one and this one. And that's basically it, so pause me now until you've gone all the way around and I will show you what's next. And now that I'm almost at the end, I need to go back here. I got the chance to put my two pearls a little closer together just by using the braid or the fire line. Getting that closer together. Putting it down. There. And as you can see, that closes up really nicely now. And I'm doing my last stitch. And now I'm going to cut off the excessive thread like that. I'm going to do that all the way around. So you might have to go on the back like that. And be careful you don't cut into your soutache, of course. And make sure your thread is on the front. And you can see here how far I still need to go to close that up a little further. That is closed already, but it's closed a little bit low, so I'm going to close that up a little higher, just to be on the safe side. Okay, I got my thread on the front, and now we're just going to cut off the rest of it. Okay, and when you're all done, you should wind up with something like this. And now we're going to go back to the middle. And we're just going to go carefully. We're going back to the middle now to make our little loop right here for our ear hook. And we're going to go in here and come out in the middle. Add 3 seed beads to our needle and go across on the other side somewhere. Now we're going to go back in there and then the first 2 seed beads adding, let me see, how much did I add? 5 seed beads. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going around in the middle seed bead. Going up and around again. I'm going to do that about 3 times so I know that that thread is strong. And these earrings are very light, by the way, but you want to make sure that that thread goes a long way. I mean, it would be nice if some of the projects actually would be handed down generations. That would make me smile in heaven. And I'm going to go around one more time. And then I'm going to go down all the way to the pearl. And I'm going to go back up one more time in that seed bead. Now if you're left-handed, you might want to start doing what I'm going to do next on the other side, but you might want to do the brick stitch on this side. So then in that case you come out of this seed bead. But if you're right-handed, we're going to cross one more time to the other side. And come out back again. In that very first seed bead. Right here. And that's the first seed bead of your brick stitch. You gotta push that little loop forward now. Add a seed bead to your needle. And the brick stitch is a little difficult, but if you put it down, if you put your needle down, and you're gonna go be in the middle, if you put your needle down, you can see where you need to be. And you're just gonna stick through towards you, but from the middle. So stay on the middle line and just pull that through. Go up again and into that same seed bead, like that. I'm going to pick up another seed bead. I'm going to stand on the middle line, drop my seed bead. That's about right. No, should go a little bit more over. Like, that's the middle line right there. Drop it. Needs to go over a little bit more. You will see when you do a couple of these that you'll know exactly where to put your needle. But you want the seed beads to be next to each other. Okay, so I got it. And I'm going down. And it doesn't matter where you come out. Sticking it almost halfway through. Doesn't matter. Just go back up nearly in that same spot and go back into your seed bead like that. There. And now you need to keep your seed beads right on that middle line. So I'm about here, I think, sticking that in. And now also on the back you're doubling up the strength of your suede. And a lot of people use glue, I know. I'm not very fond of glue, so I'm going to do it this way. And if I need to, then I will do another round of little stitches. If I feel that this is too far open, I will do another round of little stitches in the white area. But you can also try and keep that a little closer like that. And close it up that way. That's going pretty neatly. And you can check on the top if you're still going straight, if you're still in that middle line. And you go all the way around. So I would say pause me until you get here and I'll show you how to cross over there. So I basically did my last one from the front view anyway, but there's a little bit room to do one more. So I'm going to go in. I'm going to look at that from the front side, that's the best thing. I'm going to go in. Pull that up, going all the way to the pearl, and then I'm going to go back in there picking up that last one. And then we're going back to the back. And we're going to pick up a seed bead. And we're just going to go pick it up right next to that other bead. Or what looks like right next to that other bead. And you're basically pulling that somewhat together. And now we're going to do the rest of that. And you can continue that road until you're about 4 seed beads over the middle. You can go until you're a little further down, but you need to find your middle, where your 2 seed beads are in the middle, and then go like 4 or 5 over them. And then we're going to add these and go back and continue the rest of our round. Okay, so I would say pause me now until you get about here, and then I'll show you what's next. Okay, I went exactly 4 over half. Here's where my half is. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to pick up a seed bead. And I'm going to take a 4mm bicone Swarovski and another seed bead. I'm going to pull that down. And then I'm going to go back through my Swarovski, add another seed bead. And I'm going to go down in the seed bead that's next to it. And I'm going to go all the way to the middle, like that. And watch out, you don't go through any seed beads there. And pull that tight. I'm going to go down in the middle, picking up the seed bead next to it, right there. And I'm going to pick up a seed bead, a 6mm, and a seed bead, and do the same. Pull that down, going back through my bicone, adding a seed bead to my needle, and going back in there, and I'm going all the way down the middle. Like that. And pull that tight. I'm going to do that again, into the middle, and the next seed bead on that line. And now I'm going to pick up a seed bead, my 8mm, and then I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going back through my last seed bead, my bicone, and I'm going to add another seed bead and go all the way through the middle, like that. And I'm going to go into the next and do the 6mm again. Seed bead, 6mm, seed bead, back into the bicone, adding a seed bead, and all the way to the middle. And one more time. With the 4mm, seed bead, 4mm seed bead, and we're going back in, and adding a seed bead, and all the way to the middle. Now we're going to go into the seed bead in the middle, and we're going to go and try and come out here. So just find a route, a path that will get you there. But stay on the beaded path, as I call it. Carefully, don't pull too tight. Up and down. And up. And I think if I go up here, going into that last seed bead, going up, and we need to come out of that seed bead over there, because we're going to continue our brick stitch. So we're going back to the back, pick up a seed bead, and now we're just going to continue our route until we're all the way up. And when we get up there, all we need to do then is add our ear hook. And that's pretty much you're done. And there might be a little problem connecting the last seed bead in between these, but let's see where we get. So slowly working our way up to the middle now. And you can pause me until you get right there in the middle. And then I'll show you how to continue. Okay, now important is that these, well, you can't see that with that. When you go check your last seed bead here, that it's even with that one. And once you got that one straightened out, we're gonna go pick up the next seed bead. And you need to do this because you want to come out perfectly with that seed bead at the end. In order to match that up. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, and as soon as I put my next one next to it, it will force it in place where I want it. Yep, that looks good. So, and now you just continue till you reach your very last seed bead over here. So that's basically it. And yeah, let's go do that. And you can pause me until you get there, because you know how to do this. I'm adding my last one now, my last seed bead, and I'm going up in that last seed bead, and then I'm going down in that seed bead that has the loop attached to it. And now I'm going to go up in the former last seed bead I added. If I can grab it. There. And I'm going to go into my white. Down into my white Soutache, and I'm going to try and come out in front of my Suadina pull that, and I'm gonna take that thread and pull it through a loop, and then I'm gonna go underneath the suadina, go in there, and I'm gonna go up one more seed bead, and down the next, into the white, coming out in front of the suadina. And now I'm just going to take my thread and go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull that through a little bit, and I'm going to stick my needle down underneath the suadina and come up about here out of the suadina and pull that through, and I'm just going to cut that off. There, I'm all done now. All I need to do is add my ear hook, and I hope to see you guys for the next Soutache tutorial. Bye guys!